When Harley tells you that your bike will no longer be under warranty unless you use genuine Harley Davidson parts, that can no longer happen, and that is no longer true. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I've got a question for you. Who has Harley Davidson pissed off? I say that because as I'm reading through these FTC filings, none of this makes any sense. So I'll give you this as an example. I have a brand new Ram pickup truck, had some trouble out of it, so I took it to the dealership. When I took it to the dealership, the mechanics inspected the truck. They verbally asked me if I had altered anything on the truck, and then I had to sign some paperwork confirming for a third time that nothing on that truck had been modified, changed. They were especially concerned about had I put a tuner on that truck. I have not. That truck is bone stock. For that exact reason, I did not want to compromise my warranty. Now, what's confusing to me is the FTC coming down on Harley like this. It feels like they are being singled out because as far as I know, other automobile manufacturers are not held to the same standard. Now, if you have no clue what I'm talking about, I'll do my best to explain it. I don't claim to know all the jargon that's in these FTC filings, but I sent it to a friend of mine who studies law and had them highlight some of the more important points, and that's what we're going to go over in this video. So there's just no way I could possibly memorize all the things in these filings, and that's because they use silly language like an old school Bible or something. So for that reason, I'm going to read off my phone, so we'll just lay some video over this audio as I read. In numerous instances, respondent, a warrantor, has represented directly or indirectly, expressly or by implication, that the validity of its warranty for consumer products costing more than $5 is conditioned on the use in connection with the warranted product of genuine Harley Davidson parts and accessories that were not provided to the consumer free of charge under the warranty. Now, to break that down, from my very simplistic understanding of that is, when Harley tells you that your bike will no longer be under warranty unless you use genuine Harley Davidson parts, that can no longer happen, and that is no longer true. Again, guys, this is just my understanding and my interpretation of this. Take this with a grain of salt, do your own research, or if you have more information on what exactly some of this stuff means, please leave me a comment. If it sounds legitimate, I'll pin it to the top. But again, I don't want to be held accountable for whatever comment someone else leaves. And while we're on that note, I don't want Timms Harley Davidson, Harley Davidson Corporate, anybody else. These are my own thoughts, opinions, all that legal mumbo jumbo, because I don't want to be caught up in any legal problems like Harley Davidson. But that same section goes on to say, a warrantor cannot, as a matter of law, condition the validity of a warranty on the consumer's use in connection with the warranted product of an article or service other than an article or service provided without charge under the terms of the warranty identified by the brand, trade, or corporate name unless it has received a waiver from the Federal Trade Commission. Goes on to say, respondent has never received or even sought a waiver from the Federal Trade Commission to excuse it from complying with Section 2302C of the Warranty Act. Therefore, the representation set forth in paragraph 21 is false or misleading. So paragraph 21 was that first one that I read. So basically, they're misleading you by saying you have to use Harley Davidson parts to keep your warranty. The next section that was highlighted says, respondent also fails to fully set forth in its warranty what is covered by or excluded from the warranty. Instead, as described in paragraphs 8 and 9, the warranty directs the owner to check with a local Harley Davidson dealer to fully understand the warranty's coverage. In addition, the 2021 warranty states that some countries, states, or other locations may require all regular maintenance and service work to be done by an authorized Harley Davidson dealer for your warranty to remain in effect. Check with your local Harley Davidson dealer for local requirements. Now, as I understand that one, like a lot of you know, I have worked in a Harley Davidson dealership for a long time, and I continue to do work for Harley Davidson dealerships. That has always been my personal understanding of the Harley-Davidson warranty, is all the work has to be done at a certified Harley-Davidson dealership, and you must use Harley-Davidson parts. This seems to no longer be the case, and it kind of sounds like it never was the case. And then the last section I want to go over seems very important, and then once we get through this, I'm going to give you guys some of my thoughts, my opinions, and a little bit of guidance on how to move forward following this information. Respondent will be permitted to exclude from its warranty coverage damages caused by the use of unauthorized parts or services, the use of its vehicles for racing or competitions, or the installation of parts designed for unauthorized uses of the vehicle, such as trailer hitches and all functional defects of powertrain components for any Harley-Davidson motorcycle registered in the United States if the vehicle was tuned using a tuning product not covered by a California Air and Resources Board executive order, or that was otherwise approved by the Environmental Protection Agency, or if Harley-Davidson or any authorized Harley-Davidson dealer has any information to show that the vehicle was tuned using a tuning product not covered by a California Air and Resources Board executive order, or that was otherwise approved by the Environmental Protection Agency. So the way I understand that is you cannot put an aftermarket tuner on your bike unless it's approved by one of those governing bodies. Now, I don't know which tuner brands are or if any of them are, but let's talk about aftermarket tuners really quickly. So, working in the dealership, one of the things that I would see is the tuners that must stay plugged into the bike. A lot of those things are not made to the same standards as the Harley-Davidson tuner, and this is not me being a pro Harley guy, this is just what I've seen. And when that happened, those tuners were susceptible to moisture, which would let moisture get into your electronics. As you all know, that is a terrible thing. That's not to say there's not good tuners out there. That's not to say that that's going to happen if you run a tuner that must stay plugged into your bike at all times. That's just what I've seen. That said, are there better tuners out there than the Harley-Davidson tuner? No, there are not. RIP the Screaming Eagle tuner. Now, as far as the repair side goes, let's talk about third-party repair shops. Again, in my experience, it has been that a lot of those shops are very much you get what you pay for. I have seen some amazing things come out of third-party shops. I've seen some of the most reliable, biggest horsepower engines come out of a shop where I go back in there and pretty much all the techs are smoking cigarettes while they're building these bikes. Nothing against people that are smoking or whatever, it's just the ashes and the components, and I don't know, it's not for me, but their work speaks for itself. With that, I've also had a lot of friends call me because they know I have connections with dealerships and say, hey, I've taken my bike to whatever, name the shop, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. They still haven't gotten it right. At this point, I've spent way more money than I would have taking it to an authorized dealership. Can you help me out? Yes, Harley-Davidson dealerships charge a lot for labor, but here's one of the good things about that is Harley-Davidson dealerships need to stay in business. They don't want customers leaving with a bad taste in their mouth. Word of mouth does a lot of damage to them. So it's in their best interest to make things right. Have people taken their bikes to the dealership and had something that was supposed to get done not get done, or something not get done to quality, standard, extent that it should have? Oh, I'm sure of it. I'm sure it happens every day, and there could be a lot of reasons for that. You know, some dealerships just don't have the same standards. Sometimes the tech may just not be up to standard, and at the end of the day, you're working on something mechanical. Things can and will go wrong. It may not be anything that was done wrong. It's mechanical failure. It happens. Like I said, I have a brand new pickup truck and had some mechanical failure. It happens. Sometimes there's someone to blame, sometimes there's not. Another example I want to throw in here is, say, the iPhone. Apple does not want you working on their iPhone because they've put it together in a way that they know it's going to be waterproof, everything functions as it should, because it's done by people that they have approved to do that work. You take it to some shop that Apple has no affiliation with, they don't know these people are not certified, that iPhone is no longer up to par with the standards that Apple has put in place. It's going to be the same thing with your Harley Davidson. It seems kind of unfair to me that they're being enforced to warranty something that you take out some of their parts and replace with aftermarket parts, and then you have some type of failure. And we don't know for sure that that would stick. So I would say modify your bike with aftermarket parts at your own risk. I wouldn't say this is any kind of bulletproof anything to make sure you're covered. I would definitely have my work done at a Harley dealership unless you have a mechanic that you really, really trust. And again, I've seen that. I've seen people took it to their buddy, their friend that's been riding bikes his whole life. Dude, I have seen wood screws used to hold battery cables into the terminal. I've seen all kind of stuff being back there hanging out in the service department. So know who's working on your bike, know what parts are going into your bike, and I'm not saying use only Harley stuff. I'm not saying Harley stuff is the best or that it's all there is. If you use something aftermarket, whether it be cams or anything like that, go with a reputable company that you've heard of before that has something to lose if something were to go wrong, so that you kind of have a leg to stand on if something does go wrong. Now, the way these filings are worded is so convoluted and muddy and just really hard to understand. I hope this gave you some type of clarification. I know it's kind of back and forth, at least that was my understanding. I'm curious what you guys think. Is Harley being targeted unfairly, or is this something that should have happened? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.